Welcome back to Election Zone. Today we're diving deep into voter registration data and trends since the 2024 election. This is the kind of stuff that doesn't get talked about enough, but it tells you where the political wind is actually blowing, not just in polls, but in raw numbers. So, big picture first. If you look at the national map voter registration swing since the 2024 election, you'll notice something immediately. Nearly every state has shifted toward the Republicans. And I don't just mean by a fraction, I mean the overwhelming majority of states have gone redder in registration. There's exactly one exception to that trend, and it's Wyoming. And even then, it's only a 0.04% shift to the Democrats. That's basically a rounding error, the kind of number that could change in a single week if 10 people decide to re-register. But let's talk about the big movers. 3 states stand out with the largest shifts toward the GOP. Number 1, West Virginia, plus 2.09% since the 2024 election. West Virginia's been trending Republican for years now, but to see this much of a shift after a presidential year is impressive. The Democratic brand here is just about extinct outside a handful of counties. Number 2, Idaho, plus 1.66%. Idaho was already solid red, but that kind of growth shows Republicans aren't just holding their ground, they're expanding it. And number 3, Rhode Island, plus 1.27%. That's the biggest surprise of the 3. It's a small state, but even in the bluest corners of the country, we're seeing movement. Now, when you pull back and look at the full map, there's something even more interesting. We've got 2 states, 2 very different states, that could actually flip in voter registration within the next year. First up is Louisiana. This one's been building for decades. Louisiana still has a ton of what we call ancestral Democrats, voters who registered blue back in the Bill Clinton era or earlier but have been voting Republican in federal elections for a long time now. The party label just hasn't caught up with how they vote. Right now, Democrats have a lead of about 45,000 voters. To put that in perspective, in 2016, that lead was close to 500,000. That's a drop of over 450,000 in less than a decade. Louisiana voted for Trump by 22 points in 2024. The registration numbers here are basically just a lagging indicator. If nothing changes, by this time next year Louisiana will almost certainly be a Republican registration state. The second state is a much bigger deal, Pennsylvania. This one isn't just about flipping a number on a registration map, it's about completely changing the electoral math for the country. Back in 2016, Democrats had a voter registration lead here of about 900,000. By the time we got to the 2020 election, that lead had fallen under 700,000. That's a huge drop in just 4 years. Then came the 2022 midterms, Democrats' lead fell again, this time to roughly 500,000. And in the 2024 presidential election, it dropped all the way down to 200,000. Now, let's fast forward to this year. June, the Democrats' lead was 93,000. July, the lead dropped to 74,000. This month August, it fell to 59,000. And just this past week, we're looking at a mere 52,000 voter advantage for Democrats in the entire state. At the rate this is going, Pennsylvania will flip before 2026, and almost definitely before the next midterm elections. If Pennsylvania flips to Republican in registration and keeps voting that way, it's basically Ohio'd, just like Ohio moved from a battleground to a reliable red state over the last decade. And here's why that matters. If Republicans start with Pennsylvania as a baseline, they would only need to secure Georgia and North Carolina to win national elections. That's it. They could lose Arizona, lose Wisconsin, even lose Nevada, and still take the White House. And that's before you even factor in what a new census could mean, especially if deportations and population shifts cost Democrats House seats in places like California and New York. Fewer seats in blue states, more in red or swing states, and the entire playing field changes again. Bottom line, voter registration trends aren't just numbers on a page. They're the ground game before the ground game. They tell you who's going to be in position before a single ad is run or a debate is held. Louisiana and Pennsylvania are the headline stories right now, but the overall trend is clear: Republicans are gaining ground almost everywhere, even if Trump's approval rating isn't the highest. When one of these states flips, you'll see it here first. See you next time.